welcome to the WESOFLY morning show. Please be sure to tune in every day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to get your daily dose of positivity and motivation. Every day at WESOFLY, we dedicate our time to spreading positivity. We are here to supply daily motivation, and our mission is to push boundaries by prioritizing subjects like mental health, self-love, self-care, and happiness. So anytime you feel discouraged, just know that we have your back. Attitude is altitude. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning into the WESOFLY morning show. You can find us streaming every day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for that daily dose of positivity and motivation, all that good stuff. Could you all do us a favor and please visit WESOFLYmorningshow.com, check out that self-care page, and look over those positive affirmations, affirm your life, affirm your situations, affirm the mindset you would like to have. And you can always create your own, but that's just kind of like a frame of reference to work with, because if you've never dealt with positive affirmations or manifestation or anything like that, we are heavily invested in that with our brand. So if you guys would be so kind and check that out, and also check out the shop page. We have a lot of merch up there, and we're consistently doing more. So it would be nice to have some feedback on all of that from you guys, if you don't mind. Share some words of encouragement with us on what we can do to build, or what you took from the show already. If you are a consumer of the show already, hit up that contact page and let us know how you're feeling. WESOFLYmorningshow.com. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. Today we're talking about saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It is one thing to just say anything. We all know how that goes when we fly off the handle. We say a lot of things that we don't mean to say. We do a lot of things that we don't mean to do sometimes, because emotions play a huge part in you doing what you need to do with the proper thing, right and wrong, that comes into play a lot of times. Having a moral compass, being able to do what needs to be done even when you don't want to. So that's something to really take into consideration. How is this going to better you? Is it going to better your situation by saying this? Is it going to better your situation by doing this? What are the possible outcomes of what you're about to say? That's why it's good to say meaningful things. And sometimes when you're saying those hurtful things, let's all be real with ourselves. When you're saying those hurtful things, you do mean them. We all know that. That's why negativity is the worst, because, you mean it sometimes, and then there are times where you don't mean it, and it was just a spur of the moment thing. It was just, an impulse, and you really want to take back what you said, but you've already said it. So that's the thing. And really take into consideration that once you say something, you can't take it back. That's huge. Because once it's put out there into the universe, it holds meaning now. Even if you didn't mean it, it holds meaning now. Because let's say you got into an argument with a really good friend of yours, or your lover, or your family member. And, we all get all worked up sometimes, and we fly off the handle, and we say things that are not appropriate. We say things that we know are going to hurt the next person, because that's the objective in that moment. That frame of mind is like, I'm going to hurt you because you're hurting me, or I feel hurt by what you're doing or what you're saying. So my natural response is to go into, survival mode and attack you. That's what the natural thing is to do. Not for everyone, but a good majority of us do that. We go into survival mode, fight or flight mode. It's either you're going to fight in that situation or you're going to get away. And it's not that you're a bad person. Don't think of it that way. Don't look at it as, oh, I'm a terrible person because I cursed them out, or I said something I shouldn't have said, or I really hurt their feelings. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's not a good idea. But you're human. You're doing what you know best. You're doing things out of habit. And no, it's not that I'm trying to condone those actions or say that they're appropriate or they're okay. Not in the slightest. They are never okay to do. But at the same time, I can't sit here and act like I haven't done it myself. I do it all the time. And I tell you guys that all the time. For those who tune into the show, I'm very transparent about how I struggle day to day with saying what I mean and meaning what I say. You know what I mean? So it's one thing to be positive and be consistent with it. Optimism. To know the reality of the situation, to know the good, the bad, the in-between, and still find a way to be a good person about it, a kind-hearted person about it, be the bigger person, take the high road, stay on the high horse, as we like to say on the show. We talk about the high road and the high horse all the time because that's what, having a fly state of mind is all about. And that's another thing that we all want everyone to understand with the whole purpose of WESOFLY is it's not about being flashy. You can be flashy with your actions and your words, you know what I mean? Being flashy isn't always the best thing anyways. It's all about meaning what you say and doing things that are worthwhile doing. Doing something that's going to hold longevity, doing something that's going to make the next person smile, go the extra mile just to see another person smile, you know what I'm saying? So that's what being fly is all about. Being fly means that you're a great person. You do outstanding things. You're a contributor to the world. You care about yourself. You care about other people. You practice self-love. You have self-care routines. You believe in manifestation. You manifest actively every day. That's what we represent at WESOFLY. That's what fly is all about. So don't misinterpret that for, fashion. I mean, yes, of course, we do like to look fly, of course. You look good, you do good. Shout out to City Boy. But yeah, so that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? It's about doing things that are going to help you. Stopping for a moment, taking into consideration all of the options that you have. Because you have a ton of options every day. Every day you encounter a different situation that might put you in a little rough patch. You might go through a couple of things throughout the day or throughout the week. Sometimes you might have really good days, and then sometimes you might have really bad days. And it's always important to watch what you say because those things do come back around. It's called the karmic cycle. Sometimes they don't come around right away, but eventually they do. So we don't want to practice harmful intentions towards other people. We don't want to practice being an active reason of why someone feels bad about themselves or putting other people down essentially and bullying people. Definitely not bullying. We don't, no. Bully mentality is out of here. It's not even an option. Just like giving up is out of here. Say what you mean what you say. Don't say you can't do something. You can do it. It's just sometimes things are difficult. Say that. It's difficult right now, but I will pull through. I am capable. I am loved. I am supported. I am a great person. Affirm those things. Use positive affirmations. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And I know that may seem so easy when you say it, but it's like it's one thing to say it, but it's a whole entire thing to feel it. And that's what's so crucial about this whole process is that you can't just go around saying anything if you don't mean what you say and you don't feel anything behind it. You know what I mean? If you don't feel the way that you're describing yourself, it doesn't really hold weight. Like if you say you're an amazing person, but you don't feel like you are one in all actuality, you feel like you're a bad person on the inside, that's not good. We need to figure out why you feel bad. Why do you feel like you're not a good person? What has happened lately? Is it because of your past? Is it because of your present? Is it because of a variety of things? Ask those questions and figure out why you're telling yourself those types of things. Because it happens to everyone. And that's something to also take into consideration. A lot of people say these things to themselves. It's just you'll never know about it because a lot of people do it in private. There are people, believe it or not, there are people out here who in public talk about themselves like they are the champions of the world. They uplift themselves, encourage themselves, are very nurturing and very just, confident in public. But behind closed doors, they're tearing themselves to shreds. It's called a poker face. It's called hiding things, holding things in. The subconscious mind always comes out some kind of way. Like the things that you harbor inside, they find ways to come out either through your actions or your words. So even if let's say you claim to have forgiven someone for something, but subconsciously you're still holding on to that, you still have resentment in your subconscious mind, that's going to come out, because every time you encounter that person or you have to interact with that person, you are going to do things out of anger. You're going to do things out of spite, and you're not even going to recognize it. It's just going to be like a natural thing, because your subconscious is telling you that you still have resentment. You haven't fully forgiven them. You haven't fully let go of what has happened. Say what you mean what you say. If you forgive someone, mean it. Don't just say it just to say it. Don't just say it to make yourself feel better in the moment, or don't just say it because it's going to spare their feelings. Mean it. If you forgive them, make sure that you actually do. Don't just say it. Don't just tell someone you love them if you don't. Things like that. Like, we got to really be careful with how we talk to each other and what we're doing, because that is very dangerous. Words penetrate more than actions, in my opinion, but that's just my personal view of the world, because I see the way you talk to someone could change their day more so than what you're doing, because honestly, when you're talking, you're doing something at the same time. To be honest, you're talking and you're acting at the same time. So let's be real about it. But you get what I mean. Like, those words can make or break someone's day. It's like, for instance, if you call someone stupid and give them a box of chocolates right after, do you think they're going to be excited about the box of chocolates, or you think they're going to be stuck on the fact that you called them stupid and insulted their intelligence? I'm going to bet that they're going to still be stuck on the insult, and they're not going to want the box of chocolates, because it's not what you did, it's what you said. Because you said and did something entirely different, they didn't agree. It's like, oh, you're stupid, but here's a gift. It's like, that doesn't add up. So that's why I'm saying, like, I feel personally, hopefully that example showed you why I said I think the words impact people a bit more than the actions, because that happens every day in relationships. You get into it and you experience all kinds of emotional ups and downs with your partner or your friends and your family, and you know what I'm saying? And let's say you try to take them out for lunch after, it's not going to have the same effect, because they have to get through it. They have to work through those feelings, because those words can help or break them. You can either help somebody to flourish, or you can break them down and watch them crumble. You know what I mean? It's so easy to make someone's day, just like it is for you to like ruin someone's day on purpose. You can use that same language, the good language, the positivity spread, to make someone's day. Go the extra mile to see someone smile, So I'd much rather put a smile on someone's face than to put a frown on their face. So that's why I try. I'm not going to say I'm the best at it. I'm a professional at holding it together, because that's not true. I try my best. And if I slip up, I recognize it. I acknowledge my faults. I acknowledge my wrongdoings. And what I do is I try to redeem the situation, meaning that I try to see how I can fix things if it's possible. If it's not possible, then I'll just leave it up to God and go forward and try not to make the same mistakes again next time. But like I said, it's still prone to happen. It happens all the time. We're all working on ourselves, and we're all trying to maintain some level of progress, and with progress, it's important to understand that you are going to go backwards and forwards sometimes. You're not going to always move forward. Sometimes you're going to take some steps back, because there are lessons that you didn't learn still, and you have to acknowledge those lessons more so. So that's why you make a lot of mistakes and you have setbacks, and you can think to yourself, well, I thought I was through that already. I thought I had worked my way through that situation already, or I thought that wasn't a trigger of mine anymore. It's okay. It happens. You think you're over something and you're not. And that's why I don't like to use the words get over it, because I think that's an insult to a person to tell them to get over something. I always encourage people to get through things, or we always encourage people to get through their situations, and not only get through, but to acknowledge the lessons and the blessings from those situations that are presented, because that's what is going to make the difference. That's what keeps the world moving in the best way, is when people can acknowledge what they've done wrong and work towards fixing it, or at least work towards bettering the situation so that they won't have the same mistakes happen in the future. Take what you've learned and apply it accordingly. That's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to be angels or saints or perfection walking. We're trying to be good human beings. We're trying to be human. We want to tap into our humanity to the fullest extent. So that's what it requires us to do, to say what we mean and mean what we say. So it's really not so difficult when you really think about it. It's all about you doing what needs to be done, and you figuring out what's your strength and what's your weakness. And if you have several, definitely figure those out too. But beating yourself up is not going to help you. Looking down upon yourself for what you've already said and what you've already done is not going to help you. This is not the purpose behind this whole thought process. Is not to make you feel bad, it's to build you. If anything, it's to help you, because the minute you sit down and you're real with yourself, that's when you start making meaningful movements. That's when you start impacting people with your words instead of, breaking them down, like I said before, So I find that when you do the right thing, more blessings are bestowed upon you. When you acknowledge your faults, you can grow more. But if you're oblivious to them, it just lingers, and it prolongs the process of growth. But growth is inevitable. We grow each and every day in mind, body, and spirit. All day long we're growing. All day long our mindsets are shifting. All day, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed at night, you're shifting. Physically, mentally, spiritually, because you're encountering different situations. It could just be that the weather changes outside and that makes your perspective shift. It's amazing. It's a beautiful process. So that's why you have to hold on to what's meaningful to you. Understand what's meaningful to you. What is going to keep you going in this lifetime? What motivates you? What matters, So we're basically trying to say what's going to matter. We're trying to make things stick. And we don't want to make bad things stick. We want to make the good impact as much as we can. So we're going to take a little break here, for a little commercial break, but we're going to be right back after this little Q&A, you know what I mean? But stay tuned for the rest of the episode, okay, guys? And it's time for the question of the day. So for today's question of say what you mean and mean what you say, do you think it's important to think about what you say before you say it? Do you think that can make a difference? Or do you think it really doesn't matter because you're going to end up saying what you want to say regardless? I think that's a very important question. In my opinion, I think it is important to think about what you say. If you don't know how to say anything nice, don't say anything at all. We all know how that goes. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I think when you're thinking about it, it helps you to make sure that you say something nice instead of saying something mean. So that's why I think it's very crucial to think about your words before you say them, and to think about your actions before you partake in them as well. But that's, something for us all to really ask ourselves. But yeah, so the question of the day is, do you think it's important to think before you speak? Okay, thank you guys for tuning into that small question of the day. So hopefully, you think about that and you make some sense of it and you apply it to your life. Once you answer it, feel free to reach out to us through WESOFLY and let us know what you think about the question of the day. For this particular episode, please be sure to mention the episode that you take it from, because we will be doing those questions daily as well. So if you do come across them at a later date, it is okay to just mention the episode as well, so we'll know exactly which one you're talking about. But yeah, so say what you mean and mean what you say. So if you don't take anything away from this topic, please at least think about how powerful your words are and how you can either speak life into yourself or take away from yourself, And it's important to not only think about this when you're talking to other people. It's very, very crucial when you're talking to yourself, because inner dialogue means a lot. Inner dialogue holds so much more weight than how people view you on the outside. What people say to you is not going to impact you as much as what you say to yourself. That's why we say self-love is the best love, because how you view yourself is going to either take you to the next level or it's going to knock you down a notch. So it's going to either help it to pick up that pace or slow down the pace. So it's all about whether you are trying to win or do you want to lose, and we only lose when we give up on ourselves, and talking to yourself that way can enable you to have that defeatist attitude and essentially give up, so speak life into yourself, speak life into your situations, practice what you preach, If you say that you want to have a good life and you say that you're a good person, make sure that you fulfill that promise to yourself. Be a good person. Do the right thing. Have a sense of morality. Stick towards that moral compass. Don't let the outside world convince you to do bad things because it seems quote unquote cool or trendy or it's funny. It's not funny to hurt people's feelings. It's not funny to be a bad person. It's not funny to spread negativity. It's not funny to take away from the world or take away from other people's lives or your life at all, so it's all about doing what feels right inside, your gut. Go with your gut instinct, because that'll never mislead you. We all have a good sense of intuition. We all know the difference between right and wrong. We know. It's just that we choose not to do those things sometimes. And I'm not going to say that's okay. I'm just going to say take it as a lesson learned, mark it underneath lessons, take notes from it, and just learn how to apply it in the future. If you find that you've done something wrong, acknowledge that it's wrong. Don't say something you don't mean because you feel embarrassed or you're frustrated or you're disappointed in yourself or the situation. That happens a lot. That can easily happen to anyone. It happens to a lot of us, where we feel some type of way about what we did. So instead of apologizing or redeeming the situation, we make matters worse by flying off the handle. It happens all the time. But it's important to not let it get to that extent. And the way to do that is to develop emotional intelligence. Tune into yourself. Talk to yourself with love, with care. Have a self-care routine. Cater to those needs and keep uplifting yourself. Keep affirming yourself positively, because we have to understand that there is such a thing as negative manifestations. That's why we talk so much about how powerful your words are, because the way that you think about yourself is the person you become. Who you believe you are, that's who you become. So if you feel like I said earlier, if you feel like you're a bad person, you will do bad things more than likely, because you've already set it up in your mind that that's the lifestyle you need to live anyways, because that's how you perceive yourself to be. So that's why it's important to watch that dialogue, and to not only watch that dialogue internally but externally as well, because let's say you do say uplifting and loving things to yourself, but then you talk down on others. Same thing. It's still not going to end well. It's not going to give you the right results, because your image, you want to be represented the right way. You want to have connections. You want to be able to build. You want to be able to network. And you don't want people to not want to talk to you because they feel like you're not a person that can communicate properly. Things like that. We really got to take into consideration who we're talking to, what we're talking about, and to what extent our words go. If it's something positive, talk about it all day. Go in depth, go deep. You know what I mean? Be as deep as you want, as spiritual as you want, as positive as you want. have all that good energy about yourself when it comes to those situations. You can never be too positive. You can never be too kind. But negativity, if it's not something good, hey, I let people know I'm not wasting time talking about bad things. I don't want to worry about the problem as much as I want to worry about the solution. So I want my words to be as like a medicine for people. That's what we really try to promote. Like, understand that your words hold so much weight within a person, and it holds so much weight within yourself. So see your words like medicine. Do you want to heal people, or do you want to make them sick? Because we all know that every form of medication is not for everybody, right? Sometimes you try different medicines, they don't work. Maybe your body's immune to it, maybe you're allergic to it. Look at negativity as like an allergy. Do you want people to be allergic to you, or do you want them to embrace you full force? Look at it like that. I don't want to be an allergy. I know you don't. I know you want to heal people, right? Don't you want to make them feel better? Don't you want to be like a first aid kit for people? That's what we are. Let's build. Let's not break down. So next time you think about saying something mean, think to yourself, do I want people to be allergic to me? Or do I want them to embrace me and be that medicine and be that first aid kit to save someone's life? Because it does get that serious. Little do you know, your words can save someone's life. People have told me that a lot, and I never believed them, because I'm like, how? Like, I didn't even do anything. And they're just like, you don't know. But when you said this, it did this. And I was like, wait, what? So you just never know who's listening. You never know for what reason. All you know is that different situations go on. They hold a major purpose. But in order to get through to that purpose, you have to say the right things and mean what you say, and make sure that you're doing everything with good intentions, because when you do things with good intentions, good things happen. When you do things with bad intentions, bad things happen. Just understand that what goes around comes back. So if you're doing something out of spite, something spiteful shall be done in return. You know what I mean? It's just, it's how it goes. It's not so simple to get away with that scot-free. It doesn't work like that, So it takes time, though. It may not happen right away, but trust me, you don't need extra adversities added to your plate. You just don't need that bad energy. You want good things to come to you. You want blessings. You don't want to keep learning the same lesson over and over and over again. And that's why it keeps happening, because you're not saying what you mean, and you're not meaning what you say. You're doing things that you don't mean to do, and it's not okay. The universe and God, or whatever spiritual practices you have, is trying to teach you that that's not the way. That's not really you. That's not what you stand for. It's just emotions. It's emotional. It's an emotional impulse sometimes, and that is okay, because it lets you know you're human. Like I said, it lets you know that you care and you feel things, but we have to be careful with how much we care and how much we feel. Because sometimes our feelings are not accurate. We may feel like a lot of people don't like us, but that's not the truth. You know what I mean? And like I had said earlier, those things manifest. Don't say that people don't like you. That's not the truth, because then you can start to make it to where people don't like you, because you're manifesting that. You're putting that kind of energy to return to you. You know what I mean? You're putting it out, so then it's actually going to start coming. Then you might encounter people that don't like you, more than likely. If you didn't before, you might just start, just because you said people don't like you. Say what you mean and mean what you say. So just understand the power of your mind, understand the power of your words, and just try your best to be more thoughtful, have more mindfulness when you're going into different situations, and when you're experiencing different forms of adversity. Just really try your best to be more mindful of how the outcomes can play out, and weigh your options accordingly, and realize that you do have more than one way to take, more than one route. You don't have to do things the same way every time. You have options, you have a choice, and it's a choice to mean what you say, and stand behind that, and have good intentions, So we do everything with intention. We just may not know all the time what kind of intentions we're having. Sometimes you go into something with a good amount of intentions, you know what I mean? Like you have good ones more than you do bad ones. but sometimes it could still work out badly because of that little bit of resentment that's underneath all that, underlining level of resentment. You know what I mean? So make sure you purify your spirit so that you can do and say what you mean. Make sure you release the negativity so that it doesn't sit within your system, and it doesn't ruin your spirit, and it doesn't ruin your mentality, and it doesn't take, it doesn't make a difference on you physically as well, because we all know that once our mind goes to a certain place, it affects our body as well. So if you want to feel good physically, you have to feel good mentally and spiritually as well. Feed your spirit, like I said, love yourself, speak to yourself with nothing but loving words, and see the potential in yourself, and don't just allow other people to compliment you. Compliment yourself. There's nothing wrong with complimenting yourself. There's nothing wrong with saying you're beautiful or you're handsome or you're a genius or whatever. Like, if you truly believe those things, say what you mean and mean what you say. No one can tell you otherwise. If that's how you feel about yourself, that's your reality. That's the thing. That's a major key for life, is to understand that we all have different perceptions, which means we all have different realities. So if that's how you feel about yourself, whatever you feel about yourself, that's going to hold a lot of meaning. So just make sure that it's something good instead of something bad. Try to do more good in the world than you do bad things. And I promise you, things are going to start looking up. You're going to start looking at things from a different lens. You're going to start having different interactions, more positive interactions, more positive outcomes, just more positivity, period, overall, in general, in your life. Because you're doing what's good. You're doing what's right, and you know how to have discernment. You know the difference. So, yeah. With that being said, please, once again, be sure to visit WESOFLYMorningshow.com. Check out those positive affirmations when you get the chance. Go over them and take them in. Let it really sink in and hold meaning in your life and get you to where you want to go. Give you that pep in your step. Give you that confidence boost that you deserve, because you deserve whatever your heart desires, and more. And also, please be sure to check out our merchandise, guys. We have a shop page on the site as well. There's so many different designs up there. And you also have the option to create your own shirt as well. So take full advantage of that too. And like I had said earlier, please be sure to hit us up through the contact page if you do have questions, concerns, suggestions, any topics that you'd like us to talk about, either through the show or the podcast or the YouTube. We all have, we have all of those platforms available as well. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google. There's so many different streams that we're on right now that you can check us out on. And we'll just keep you guys updated. And we also have a lot of good things in store, a lot of powerful things coming out, impactful things coming out. So please be on the lookout for that as well. Because it's a very exciting time, guys. It's a very exciting time for us because we're making major moves, and we're doing a lot of good things for the brand, and it's building, and it's all thanks to you guys and your inspiration and your support for those who are already on board with the show. So we appreciate you all the time. Thank you for just being a part of the show and just tuning in and giving your feedback and making it possible to do this each and every day. So yeah. So with that being said, I hope that you have a very blessed day. I hope that you enjoy yourself, whether it's day or night. And just be proud of your progress. And always remember to say what you mean and mean what you say. But tell a friend to tell a friend, because when you look good, you do good. So do good things. All right.
Always stay fly. I gotta stay fly. When you see me in the club, when you